Series on Speedvision.
Well, I think that some of the controversy now is going to be put to rest, hopefully, and I got full belief in all my guys here. I'm come here this weekend with a new attitude at Sears Point, and there's a lot of races left. We can still win a championship for Hypercycle Suzuki, and I know Kerry's still going to be there with us. Maybe not at the track, but he's still going to be around.
Defending AMA 750 champion Jason Pridmore began the '98 season with new teammate Nicky Hayden and hopes of another title. But both soon faced controversy with accusations of using illegal parts in a Supersport class. We'll start our coverage with round 3 of the season at Laguna Seca.
Round 3, 750 Supersport at Laguna Seca. There's Nicky Hayden, who got the great start, taking the lead over Steve Rapp in second and Richard Alexander in third. With 15 laps to go, Nicky Hayden is still leading, but Alexander Pridmore battling for second, past Steve Rapp on the inside down into turn 2.
750 Supersport racing always close. Defending champion Jason Pridmore there. And then Pridmore makes an inside pass on Alexander. All this dicing for position allowed Nicky Hayden to pull off an even bigger lead at this point in the race. Hayden was gone. At the finish, it was Nicky Hayden first and Jason Pridmore second, celebrating with dual wheelies at the finish line.
First time at Willow Springs in a while. Round 4 of 750 Supersport. Very windy conditions for racing. James Randolph would lead early, but Steve Rapp would make a comeback drafting on the long straightaway down into turn 1.
Steve Rapp out in front, but Nicky Hayden went to work, going through the pack like a balloon with the air coming out of it. He moved into second position and headed out after leader Steve Rapp. Eventually, Nicky would make the pass for the lead and take the win, his first in a debut season. Nicky, after the first 4 rounds, there were some pretty serious allegations, and with team owner Kerry Andrews suspended, it had to be difficult. What was going through your mind?
Well, it was pretty much something I didn't have any control over, so I still had to do my job and just try not to worry about it, and it's really all I could do.
But as a rider, Nicky, was it frustrating, especially like at Daytona or Willow Springs, where you go out there and you work and you have a good result, and then you get taken away from your points docked? How did that make you feel?
It definitely, hurt, just knowing that I did the best I could, and then, something like the windshield incident at Willow that I really didn't think made much of a difference, but, it's the rules, so.
And that's probably the hardest thing, where the rules come into play like that with the windscreen, and that really didn't improve your performance. And as a rider, when you can't control the outcome like that, that's probably the hardest thing, as bad as if you make a mistake. So, but I think Nicky handled it very well.
Well, it certainly took the bloom off what we thought was a brilliant performance. And I think the bottom line was, at the 5th round of the season, Sears Point, Nicky was out to prove himself.
Round 5, 750 Supersport at Sears Point, a very tricky racetrack. It was Jason Pridmore who did the hole shot for the lead. Nicky Hayden up battling with Steve Rapp for second place. But then a scary moment for Rich Alexander. Late on the brakes, coming down in turn 11. Picks the bike up, almost crashes, but he lost quite a few positions.
During all of this, defending champion Jason Pridmore was able to carry the #1 plate all the way to victory, as wife Susie celebrated back in the pits with the Team Hypercycle crew.
Under wet conditions at Road Atlanta, Jason Pridmore would lead early, while teammate Nicky Hayden would retire after sliding off the track into the mud.
Pridmore still had the lead, but with pressure building behind him, Alexander made a pass to lead for a brief time. Shortly afterwards, though, 3 of the leaders would end up in the mud. Wet conditions taking their toll on Jason Pridmore and Rich Alexander. Among the point lead contenders, only Steve Rapp survived, and he was being pressured at the end by Mark Young and then Paul Harrell and Mario Duhamel of the Hooters Suzuki team. In spite of the pressure, Steve Rapp would go on to win the event and take over the points lead. After the first 6 rounds in 750, Steve Rapp was on top with 176 points. James Randolph and Rich Alexander weren't far behind, though. Meanwhile, defending champ Jason Pridmore was back and forth, 27 points behind.
Presenting the first USA PGA Tour Titanium MasterCard. With
with a 3.9% APR for the first 6 months, then a low 9.99% thereafter. There's no annual fee, a credit limit from $5,000 to $100,000, and a free gift. How can you get all this? By calling 1-800-533-5546 now. Think what it could bring you. Greens fees, $116. Graphite shaft clubs, $877. Lunch at the turn, $13.50. Balls, tees, $36. Hole in one. And a witness, priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's the First USA PGA Tour Titanium MasterCard. Call 1-800-533-5546 now and enjoy exceptional privileges and benefits. You could save hundreds of dollars by transferring your balances from higher interest rate credit cards. And you'll receive free a dozen Top Flight 3XL titanium golf balls with your first purchase or balance transfer. For a low 3.9% APR, a credit limit from $5,000 to $100,000, and no annual fee. Get the card that's a friend to golfers everywhere. Call 1-800-533-5546 and request the First USA PGA Tour or Senior PGA Tour Titanium MasterCard or the First USA Titanium MasterCard. The choice is yours, and so is this free gift. Call now.
Round 7 at 750 Supersport at Road America. Steve Rapp will lead early, but defending champ Jason Pridmore would outbreak him going under the bridge down the hill into the hairpin to take the lead. With 8 laps to go, Richard Alexander and Steve Rapp start dicing, coming up the hill, down into turn 1, battling for second place behind Jason Pridmore.
With all of their battling, Pridmore was able to pull away and go on to score another win for the 1998 season, carrying that #1 plate proudly.
Round 9 at Mid-Ohio at the start. Nicky Hayden and Rich Alexander would drag race down into turn 1. Nicky had the better line and would get the lead. Nicky's teammate Jason would work his way through the pack, battling Steve Rapp, and Rich Alexander making his way up front, go to work on Nicky.
Once Jason Pridmore arrived in the company of his teammate, the two battled it out, but Nicky would hang on for the win.
Round 10, 750 Supersport at Brainerd. It was Nicky Hayden who got a good start, pulling out a lead, while the race for second with Steve Rapp and Rich Alexander was becoming interesting. Then suddenly Mario Duhamel would close in on Steve Rapp and Alexander and make a move for second place.
James Randolph's day would be over after losing it at turn 3 and going off the racetrack, but Alexander and Mario Duhamel would continue to battle for position in second spot with 2 more riders just behind. Eventually, it would result in a 4-way battle for the runner-up position behind Nicky Hayden. Hayden pulled away and would go on to victory. While in that 4-man battle for second place, Steve Rapp, 2 turns from the finish, goes up on the curb, loses his drive, but saves a crash and just misses a podium finish behind Nicky Hayden, who scored yet another win. After 10 750 races, Steve Rapp still managed to hang on to the points lead, but Rich Alexander was closing in fast. James Randolph and Mario Duhamel were tied in 3rd, and Jason Pridmore was hanging on in 5th. So with just 2 rounds left, anything could happen.
Round 11 at the tight and twisty Pike's Peak circuit. It was Steve Rapp who got a great start, pull out to an early lead. Then Hayden, Alexander, and Jamie Bowman would battle for position. Heavy under the braking, kicking the rear end of the bikes out, making for a great show. But then Jamie Bowman would hold on until Hayden would make an inside pass for second place.
A scary moment for Rich Alexander, late on the brakes, coming off the backstretch, runs wide, but saves it. He Meanwhile, Nicky Hayden moved forward to catch Steve Rapp, pass him, and go on for yet another win in his rookie season.
The final round of 750 Supersport at Las Vegas, it was Steve Rapp who took the early lead. Nicky Hayden was running a close second. Then with 10 laps, it was James Randolph who high-sided, and that brought out the red flag.
After the restart, Nicky Hayden was able to pass Steve Rapp with 2 laps to go. Rapp was having mechanical problems, seeing his championship hopes go away. Nicky Hayden won the race, but Rich Alexander was crowned 750 Supersport champion. So it was Rich Alexander who took the championship by 11 points over Steve Rapp. Mario Duhamel finished third with 288, while Nicky Hayden just edged out James Randolph for fourth in the points. So, Nicky, you really turned it on toward the end of the season. Was it a case of getting more comfortable with the bike or just better able to deal with the problems that you had put behind you?
Well, a little bit of everything. I just kind of got comfortable and got some confidence back. Some of the other guys were worrying about championships and whatever, and I didn't really have nothing to worry about being back, just not even inside the top 10 at times in points. So I just went for race wins.
So did you find after the problems with the team and then the frustration you had mentioned about a couple of crashes, did you lose some of your motivation, or do you just go out there to win races and not really think about the championship your first year?
Well, I knew the first year of the championship was going to be tough, and I didn't want to just worry about that. So I was just worried about, you know, having fun and winning races and just trying to be up front and learn as much as possible. But, you know, I pretty well knew after we had some problems at Phoenix and Daytona, the championship was right out the window real soon. So just went after race wins.
When we come back, we'll have more with Nicky Hayden, this time about the 600 Supersport season.